episode 1, Generation Y. And that question was asked a lot in this episode. And it's your boy Icon with a little Marvel TV. And we are reviewing Miss Marvel. And I don't know how I feel about this show yet, but it is very interesting to say the least. So, it actually, it starts with a lot of Avengers references, which makes perfect sense. And where, the girl like Kamala, she's narrating her opener regarding the Avengers and Miss Marvel. She's telling the story about how the Avengers took down Thanos, and then she basically threw shade at everybody that wasn't Captain Marvel. And then she said the Avengers were getting their asses handed to them when all of a sudden Captain Marvel came out of the sky and saved the day. And like, honestly, that's actually that's actually kind of true. Like, I can't even be mad at her about that. But but obviously, like I said, it's the story of Miss Marvel that we do know that she is the obsessed fangirl. She's like the biggest Captain Marvel fan. She's Indian, Desi, Pakistan. I believe she's Pakistani. She lives in New Jersey. That so that's a new one for me. Like, she lives in New Jersey, and she comes from a very proper and religious, Desi family. And like, the problem is, well, it's not a problem, but the things with the family, it's funny to me because it's like, I don't know what's accurate in the culture and what they're actually making fun of. Because her mom is like super strict. Like, her dad is like a fun-loving like goof. Her brother, he's probably like 21 and he looks like he's 40, and then like they're all living in the house, and the mom is very like, she's very strict, and then she's just like, oh Kamala, she's like, you must do your studies, and then you must do stuff that has to do with being wholesome, and don't do what the other girls do and everything. It's like the show is very big on like parental control. And I'm not talking about PG-13. I'm talking about like, like, it's, and I can't even say parental control. It's really coming from the mom. Kamala, she lives a fantasy life. Like, she's into superheroes. She's into comic books. She's a nerd. They had a scene with her at school where she was going around school and unnecessarily bumping into the quote unquote cool kids or the popular kids. And I didn't think that was necessary, because if she's a comic book nerd, if she's someone that loves superheroes, if she loves like fan art, like she likes going to Comic-Con or Avengers Con or whatever the case may be, there's no reason to show her being on the outskirts of what's considered like the coolness of society, because amongst her friends that are involved with that stuff, amongst her friends that love the comic book stuff and the costumes and all this other stuff, like, she's like the most popular girl in that regard. So I didn't understand why we had to like do that dynamic, but anyway, but I said, but she's getting in, she's basically fighting the outside world because she wants to basically be a comic book nerd, and the outside world is telling her who she's supposed to be. She's raging against the machine, and she's basically just trying to be a normal teenager and live her life. Like, she doesn't even have the accent, that her parents have. So there's a convention coming up, and it's called Avengers Con, and she wants to go to Avengers Con because she gets to dress up like Captain Marvel, and she gets to, be in a Captain Marvel costume contest. She made her own costume and everything, but the girl doesn't have a driver's license because when she tried to take a road test, she crashed into like her instructor's car. So now she doesn't have a license, and she has to rely on her mom, I guess, to drive her to Avengers Con. So reluctantly, she asks her mom, and then, like, her mom is just like, what is this? She's like, what is this party that you want to go to with all these boys and everything? And I'm just like, here we go. But she's like, it's not a party, it's a convention. And then in an effort to, again, control her, her mom ends up making an Incredible Hulk costume for her that was like very huge and like goofy looking. And she said that your father will attend the Comic-Con with you for 2 hours, and then after that you'll bring your behind home and you will not wear tight outfits and everything. And then she got really upset. And I mean, the way Kamala could have handled that could have been better for the sake of her dad, but it was appropriate how she handled it for her mom, because her mom was bugging. And the main point that she took from, that she said in that whole thing when she got upset, because her mom made her a Hulk costume, she made her dad a Hulk costume, and said that her and her dad would go to the convention together as like Hulk and Hulk Jr. And then she was like, oh, hell no. Because she said first, and the thing is, like, every teenager is just like, oh, being seen with my dad in public or my parents in public, like, it's embarrassing, blah, blah, blah. That's different. That's not the offensive thing. But she specifically said to them, she said, listen, the superhero thing, that's my thing. You know what I'm saying? She was just like, it's my thing, and you're like, you're imposing on my thing now. She said, I just want to go to the thing, do the costume contest, and then be over with. So, but then like her dad, his feelings got hurt, and then the mom got mad, and she's like, if your father doesn't go, then you cannot go to to the party, and then and then the dad was like, then you're not going because you've hurt my feelings, and now I don't want to go. So now she's not going to the convention. So now her friend and the friend. I'm gonna say is, if you're telling a story about like a Pakistani, like Hindi, Indian, you know, East Asian character, but it's in Jersey City, and you're talking about like the culture, like like the Pakistani culture that exists within like New York City. Like her friend should have been Pakistani. Like, I mean, her friend could have been Pakistani. Her friend could have been, like could have been Asian, like East Asian. Like her friend could have been, he could have been black. He or she could have been black. Like that was a missed opportunity there for her, because again, if they're doing the whole thing like, oh, this is our first Indian character, yeah, should have just went all the way with it, and her best friend should have been like the guy. It should have been the guy that was in the show should have been Pakistani as well. So anyway, so her and her Pakistan and her white friend, they come up, with this whole big thing, with this whole plan of getting her out of the house, because basically they're doing the normal teenager thing. They're sneaking out of the house so they can go to the convention. So they sneak out of the house, they go to the convention. Now, earlier in the episode, her mom had given her a box that had a bunch of items that I guess that was left to them from her grandmother, and then she was just like, oh, it's just a bunch of trinkets passed down from family to family, and then one of them was like this gold gauntlet. Kamala ends up taking the gauntlet because when she made her Captain Marvel costume, she wanted to basically fit the costume to be more Pakistani. Like, she wanted to put her cultural spin on it. And she thought like having a Captain Marvel costume but also wearing the gauntlets would be a good way to start. So she took the gauntlet, and she goes down to to the Avengers Con. She's at Avengers Con, like they're doing the Captain Marvel contest. She puts the gauntlet on, and then for some weird reason the thing started glowing, and then her body started glowing, and now all of a sudden the gauntlet has magical powers. And I immediately got confused, because it was my understanding, and correct me if I'm wrong in the chat, I thought her powers came as a result of her being inhuman, and I thought she was supposed to go through the Terrigen Mist, which is why she got her power. Why is there no Terrigen Mist, and why is her power coming from a magic gauntlet? I am confused. So her powers apparently came from a gauntlet, and when she shot some light beams out of her hands, a la Captain Marvel, and then when she shot the light beams out of the hand, she caused some destruction. Some girl fell off of an Ant-Man head, and then she went to save the girl, and then when she went to save the girl, like, her arm extended, and a blue glowing hand that looked like it stretched out and caught her. So now I'm just like, does she not have the elastic rubber band power? Because that was supposed to be her power. That the girl don't fly, the girl doesn't shoot laser beams out of her hand. It's my understanding that Captain Marvel just has rubber power, and she can stretch her body. Like, what happened to Embiggen? Like, I thought we were doing the Embiggen thing. Now I'm confused, because unnecessarily changed her power for no reason. The whole point of Miss Marvel is for her to be a fangirl of Captain Marvel. I hope they're not going to turn her into Captain Marvel, because that's gonna be weird. But anyway, so she ended up saving the day based on destruction that she caused. And then her and her friend ran back home, and she tried to sneak into the house. And of course, the girl's been gone since dinner time. It was dinner time at 5:30. She snuck out at like 6 o'clock. It's now 9 something at night. Of course, your parents know you weren't home, which is why when she got back into the house, her mom was sitting in the bedroom looking disappointed. And then her mom said the most contradictory thing of all time in an effort to brainwash her child. She said, the mom literally said, she goes, who do you want to be, Kamala? Do you want to be a girl that we raised you to be? Or do you want to be like this silly person chasing the cosmos? What if that's who you want to be? She literally said, her mom basically said, do you want to be your own person and do the things that you want to do in life? Or do you want to be the person your father and I are trying to force you to be? And she legitimately thought that was okay. Like, she dead ass thought that was okay. Like, my mind is blown by this mother's logic. But it's like, it's controlling. Like, her mom her mom is her mom is trying to control her daughter. She's trying to turn her into the, like, thank God like Kamala like fights against that, because that's gonna piss me off throughout this entire season. So, and then in the end she was just like, do you want to be a cosmos chaser, or like, do you want to be the person I raised you to be? It's like, you can't tell somebody that and then be like, choose. So then of course, because she's a comic book nerd, she chose the magical powers, and now she's playing with the Gauntlet, and that's how the episode ended. And thank you for tuning in. And in the post-credit scene, which was not needed, two detectives saw a video of her doing her magic show at the con, so I guess they're going to try to find her now, and I'm confused about why that's even relevant. I'm going to assume at some point before this series is over, Brie Larson is actually going to show up, probably in the season finale. If she doesn't, that is going to be an immediate fail. But as far as the show is concerned, it's not bad. It's only been one episode, like, it's not bad, but it's a little weird. And I'm still trying to figure out if it's weird good or weird bad. I mean, we're still getting to know the characters, who everybody is. So we'll see what happens as things progress, and, and how things, roll on. So let me know in the comment section, what did you think of the first episode of Captain Marvel? Are you hooked? Because, I mean, I'm gonna be honest, there's so much stuff going on in other facets and like other companies and other things. Like when the show came out, I didn't even realize the show came out. Like, I didn't know I didn't know Miss Marvel was live on Disney Plus until I saw a commercial for it when I was watching The Flash. Like, like the show just kind of like snuck in there. But like I said, but we'll see. And that somebody let me know in the comments, how many episodes are we getting of this? Like, are we getting the usual 6? Because if we're only getting 6 episodes of this, then they need to hurry up. Because, like, we can't spend a lot of time. Like, we need to like chop, because Moon Knight suffered from that, because y'all got 6 episodes and y'all dragged it out for like no reason. But like I said, but we'll see. Share your questions in your comments. What do you think of the characters? What do you think of the mom? Well, what do you think of, her powers being changed and everything? Like, are you happy? Do you not care? Are you, like, are you angry? Like, share your thoughts and we'll continue talking about it. Check me out on Twitter and Instagram, always on YouTube, where you can share your questions, comments, and or concerns. You can also check out my reviews, because the season finale of Young Justice, which was killing it, is on the channel as well. We got Superman and Lois, and we got The Flash, until next week when we got more Captain Marvel, as we wait for Doom Patrol. So thanks for tuning in, guys. So for episode 1 of Captain Marvel, we will be back for episode 2. Get ready, light it up. Until then, we're out this beat.